The Replacement Bride's Diary. Chapter 1. The Substitute Bride. Nina Hale had always lived in the shadow of her twin sister, Lina. While Lina was bright, loud, social, and the center of every room, Nina was quiet, reserved, and happiest surrounded by books in the small bookstore she managed. They looked exactly the same soft brown hair, same hazel eyes, same delicate features, but their personalities were worlds apart. So when Lina ran away just hours before her massive, high-society wedding to Ethan Sterling, the wealthy, powerful, notoriously serious CEO of Sterling Enterprises, their parents panicked. "Please, Nina," her mother begged, tears in her eyes. "Just for the day. Just until the ceremony and the signing. We can't cancel now. It would ruin us. It would destroy the company alliance. No one will know. You look exactly like her." Nina hesitated. This was wrong. This was lying. But she loved her family, and she knew how much depended on this marriage, not just reputation, but business contracts that kept their family secure. With a heavy heart, she let them dress her in the white lace gown, style her hair exactly like Lina's, and cover her face with a long veil. She walked down the aisle on shaking legs. The church was grand, filled with important people, cameras flashing. At the altar stood Ethan. Even from behind the veil, Nina could feel his presence, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair perfectly styled, suit immaculate. He looked intimidating, cold, and completely unreadable. When she reached him, he turned slightly. The priest began the ceremony. Nina kept her head down, terrified he would hear her voice, notice her mannerisms, realize the mistake. Then came the vows. When it was Ethan's turn, he leaned closer to her. Instead of speaking the traditional words loud enough for everyone, he lowered his head right to her ear. His voice was deep, calm, and unmistakably knowing. "You are not Lina," he whispered. Nina's heart stopped beating. She froze, her blood turning cold. He knew. He knew immediately. She was caught. She waited for him to step back, to call out the lie, to humiliate her and her family. But instead, Ethan continued, his voice low and steady, only for her. "Good. I never wanted your sister anyway." He pulled back, smiled politely at the guests, and spoke loud and clear for everyone to hear. "I do." Nina stood there, stunned, confused, her mind racing a million miles an hour. He knew. He knew she was the wrong sister. And he was marrying her anyway. As they walked back down the aisle as husband and wife, hand in hand, Nina felt completely lost. Why would he agree to this? What did he mean he never wanted Lina? And most terrifying of all, who did he want? Chapter 2. A Marriage of Secrets. The reception was a blur of music, dancing, congratulations, and flashing lights. Nina played her part perfectly, smiling, nodding, letting Ethan guide her, keeping her voice soft and short. Every time she looked at him, he was watching her. Not with anger, not with confusion, but with a strange, intense curiosity. When they finally escaped to the bridal suite in his grand estate, the door closed, and silence fell. Nina stood near the door, clutching her hands together, waiting for him to yell, to demand an explanation, to send her away. Ethan took off his jacket, loosened his tie, and turned to her. His expression was serious, but not angry. "Sit down, Nina," he said simply. She jumped slightly. You know my name." "I know everything," Ethan replied, walking over to pour 2 glasses of water. "I knew within 10 seconds of you walking down the aisle." Lina walks with her chin up, looking at everyone. You looked at the floor." Lina talks loudly, laughs too much. You barely speak. You are nothing like her." Not in the way you move, not in the way you hold yourself, not in the way you look at the world. He handed her a glass. I told you, I never wanted Lina. This marriage was arranged by our families and business partners. I agreed only because I hoped there was a chance I would meet you. Nina stared at him, completely bewildered. Me? But I've never met you before today. I spend all my time at the bookstore. I don't go to parties. I don't do business. How could you know me? Ethan walked over to a small table near the window. There sat a tablet and a small, leather-bound notebook. He opened it, and Nina's breath caught in her throat. Inside were pages and pages of notes. Transcripts. Copies of writing. Day 42, rainy day. The bookstore smells like old paper and memories. I wish someone understood how books feel like homes. Day 67, people look at twins and see copies. But we are just two different people living in the same shape. I wonder if anyone ever sees me. Day 103, writing is the only place I can be completely honest. The girl in these words is who I really am. The girl I hide from everyone else. Nina's hands started shaking. She knew those words. She wrote them. For years, she kept an anonymous online diary, pages of silence, where she poured out her heart, her thoughts, her love for literature, her feelings of being invisible. No one knew it was her. She never used her real name. She never showed her face. It was her secret world. Where did you get this? She whispered. Ethan looked at her, his dark eyes softening completely, filled with emotion. I have been reading pages of silence for 3 years, he said quietly. Every single entry, every thought, every feeling. I fell in love with the woman who wrote these words. The woman who sees beauty in silence, who finds comfort in stories, who feels things deeper than anyone I have ever met. He stepped closer. I didn't know her name. I didn't know her face. But I knew her heart. And when I found out the woman I was forced to marry had a twin sister, quiet, bookish, invisible Nina, I started putting the pieces together. I hoped. I prayed I was right. And today, when you walked down that aisle, I knew. He smiled, a real, warm smile that transformed his face. I didn't marry the substitute bride, Nina. I married the woman I have loved in secret for years. I married you.